All right, guys, it's a genius Weatherman with another episode of Lean Keto Times, and just want to kind of get back on track of making these videos. I keep saying I'm going to make them more regularly, but I mean a lot of things come up in life. But anyways, got my spider bite venom cocoa recipe. Some little stevia, some cinnamon, and a little vanilla. And then I got and some heavy whipped cream. And then I got my spider bite venom drink, which is carbonated water, a little apple cider vinegar, and some lemon juice. And then I got my favorite soup that I make, or goulash, whatever you want to call it. It's made out of it's a beef, kind of a beef stew, but obviously no potatoes, no carbs, nothing like that. So, and some cheese sprinkled on top. Got a nice curry powder taste to it. So, anyways, we're going to talk about two things today. Basically, the one thing we're going to talk about is a little bit about self-help and how much self-help do you need. I think I've talked about this before, but I just posted an article about how you can kind of encourage yourself, or how would you say, animate yourself, motivate yourself, that's the word, by putting yourself in the third person and saying it in your mind. It's kind of a different way to do an affirmation. I don't really believe in affirmations, but in this case here, this sounds like a good idea, and I've actually done it before, and I've probably done it unconsciously many times and not knowing how well it worked. And then also we're going to talk about the rhythm of the night, which is basically the kinds of things that you have to deal with when you're in a nightclub, and also the different type of venues, the difference between the venues. I wrote an article about that. So, anyways, I posted an article about self-help before, and how basically it's got nothing to do with pickup. And, of course I still stand by that, but, I always said pickup has its place. When I mean that self-help doesn't have anything to do with pickup. I mean, if you want to study self-help to, better yourself or motivate yourself to become more successful, that kind of stuff, that's fine. But you're going to find out that once you get out in the field, some really hot girl tell you to, fly a kite. You're not gonna remember anything about self-help. Like, right then and there, either you know how to handle that situation as a PUA, or you're just gonna get blown out. So, but anyways, this article about how you can, motivate yourself by an affirmation using yourself in the third person. So, most people, when they want to do something, they say, "Oh, I can do it," in their mind. But really, scientists have found out, or there's a study out that shows that if you put yourself in the third person and say, "You can do it," there's a slight edge, not much, but it's a slight edge over saying, "I can do it." And I was testing this out in the gym. Didn't work so well for me yesterday. I was in the gym, but last weekend it worked pretty well. I was actually able to set a record on my deadlift and my overhead press. Well, not my overhead press, but my mainly my deadlift. And yeah, I mean, you know, you know, there's really not so much. I mean, there's really so much you can do about self-help. Like you know, it's about motivating yourself, and you know, if you really want to learn self-help, you know, my recommendation is, you know, read the book Think and Go Rich, which is probably the only book you'll need, because everybody else after Napoleon Hill is just copying off of what he wrote. And then this guy, Dan Pena, who interestingly enough, talked about Napoleon Hill and said that Napoleon Hill was basically an insurance salesman, and basically they wanted to boost sales, so instead of selling more insurance, basically he came up with this idea. He thought of this idea about selling self-development or something, you know, selling books on self-development. And it's just interesting how Dan Pena said that one of the reasons why Napoleon Hill did that, or maybe he didn't think of it that way, but ultimately what it was about was you can't quantify self-help. So that means there's no measurable improvement that you can write down on a piece of paper or say, you know, I've reached some level of performance or whatever. And it's funny because a lot of self-help gurus will tell you that, you know, self-help is all a journey, and there's no destination, and it just goes on forever to the day you die. And yeah, I mean, you know, life's a journey, that's for sure. But you know, if you're trying to do something like pick up or start a business or something like that, you know, there's definitely it's not just a journey. There's some deadlines. You know, I mean, it's interesting when you think about how short life is, and everything about that fact, and the fact that there's only 24 hours in a day, and you know, 6 to 8 hours of that is, you know, spent sleeping, recharging your batteries. You know, it leaves you like, you know, 16, maybe 18 hours max of you know, time to if you want to say it, you know, go on your purpose. And if your purpose is just studying more self-help, then you're not really helping yourself, you know. I mean, that 24-hour period and the short lifespan that we have is pressure for us to decide what it is what we want to do and then do it. It's not meant for us to spend hours studying self-help and then, like Dan Pena likes to say, you know, mentally masturbating, just make that an excuse not to take action or not to do anything. I mean, you don't really need a lot of self-help. Like you don't. You just need to decide, and you're going to find out. And as soon as you decide what it is you want to do, and stick to it, and not be afraid to make any mistakes, but just keep learning from those mistakes, you're gonna figure out that you don't need any self-help. Like, that's all the self-help you need right there, is when you decide something, you take action on it. And it's just funny how, you know, Dan Pena, he likes to say most of these self-help gurus start their own business teaching self-help, which is, retarded. It's just one of these things where they don't have a legitimate business idea or a business idea that's really worth its salt or something that's actually productive, so they just regurgitate somebody else's talking points, or they, try to pretend like what they're saying is profound and different and unique, and they'll use rhetorical slogans and and it's just retarded. I mean, if you really want to help yourself, decide what you want to do and do it, and if you got some deeper psychological issues to deal with, then maybe you need to see a professional psychiatrist, not some self-help guru, and I mean, I respect people who manage to change lives and use self-help to help other people, but at the end of the day, if you're an average Joe who just needs a little motivation to do something, you don't need to study self-help. What you need to do is just sit down for a moment. I don't like to use meditation, but I say daydream. Think really hard about what it is that you want to do, and then do it. And don't be afraid. I mean, even my... Excuse me. So anyways, that's all the self-help that you really need. Like, even on my channel, like, if you look at what I have, it's just basically me executing self-help. Like, it's got some videos of me in the gym. It's got some videos of me doing pickup. I mean, basically, I'm doing self-help. Got videos of me doing, lean keto times. So I'm eating healthy, going to the gym, on my purpose, so to speak, with pickup and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's really all you got to do. Just figure out what you want to do, decide on it, and then do it. And don't be afraid to make the mistakes. The mistakes are going to teach you. The mistakes are going to help you learn to do something productive, and then you'll do it. One of the things I decided to do was go back to learning computer programming, so I can finish making an app that's going to help guys out with pickup, help train them. So, I mean, these are the things that I don't need to spend 20, 30 hours learning learning self-help how to do. It's just something that, I'm going to make the mistakes. I'm already making the mistakes. And that's going to help me to get where I want to go. So, kind of talk about my second thing I want to talk about, which is the rhythm of the night. In pickup, it all starts with the venue. I wrote an article about this, about how we gotta decide whether or not, you want to do the hard things first, which is what I suggest. I suggest going to the most difficult venues first. If you're doing drills or you're learning how to open sets in different difficult environments, then I suggest going to a loud nightclub, because that's going to be the hardest venues to go to. Girls are running up and down, back and forth to the bathroom with their friends, There's guys, aggressive guys sometimes, cock blocking, trying to take your set, stuff like that. And it's good to use those venues first, and then maybe on another night, or maybe even that same night, depending on your area and how late those places are open. You want to go to maybe a bar or lounge, like for me, I like to go to a bar or quiet lounge on a Sunday, and then I use the Friday and Saturdays to go to a loud nightclub. I found out that my results are a lot better, because when I get to a quiet lounge, I mean, it's like super easy, super easy. Because the girls are not stuck in the VIP tables and stuff like that. And, you can really do a lot more in a quiet lounge after you practice in a more difficult venue like a loud nightclub. So, the thing about a loud nightclub is that it's so chaotic, it's so much distraction, so many things that's going on, that you really learn that there's a pattern, there's a rhythm kind of happening when you're in the nightclub. And what I mean by that is there's certain things that you're going to be doing over and over again, because your brain is going to pick up, oh, this is about to happen. Like, say for instance, you're talking to a girl and she just happened to be alone when you approached her. Well, her friends are going to be showing up, within 30 seconds or a minute. And so you're going to know that, okay, maybe I shouldn't try to isolate her yet or try to go for the makeout or anything like that, because, her friend's going to show up. And if I move too fast, then, her friend's going to cock block and take her away and stuff like that. And in my opinion, if you don't understand the rhythm of the night, then you're going to get frustrated, You're going to think the pickup doesn't work, that, that there's no methodology to this, that it's just all a numbers game and it's just silly and retarded. And you can give up. So you want to try to find that rhythm when you go out, especially to a loud nightclub, because there's just so much going on. It's just so much chaos. But it's the same chaos every weekend. Like, it's the same, like you'll see that the same thing happens every time. And then once you flow with that rhythm, and it's easy to get the makeouts, go for the pulls, and so on and so forth. But that's really what game is, it's about, because so many guys think it's all verbal game and all about what you say, and I gotta build 7 hours of comfort and stuff like that. I might work for you in a quiet lounge, but in a loud nightclub, there's too much going on. So you gotta learn how to manage the chaos. And what you can do is just go to those type of venues first, and then, if you don't get any results from those venues, then go to a quiet lounge or something like that. But anyways, looks like I'm close to finishing my meal. So all the self-help you need, all you got to do is just decide on something to do and then do it. And then as far as the venues are concerned, the rhythm of the night, just go to the most difficult venues first. Don't try to, run silly, game, like on High Value or some nonsense like that. Just be very sociable. Anticipate, the friends are going to come in at certain times, depending on how you approach and when you approach. And it'll come to you. It really will, and you'll start to see a lot more results when you train pickup that way. So, anyways, I finished my meal. Appreciate you tuning in, and hopefully I'll start making these videos more regularly. But until the next time, keep taking action.